The reign of drug cartels is about to shatter, and no one sees it coming. For decades, massive shipments slipped past Navy patrols, keeping cartel empires alive. But now, a secret weapon has entered the fight, the B-2 stealth bomber, silent, invisible, deadly. This ghost from the skies could end the cartel's empire forever. How will this bomber make cartel defenses powerless? What does this mean for the future of drug trafficking across the Americas? Join us as we uncover the Navy's secret plan to wipe out cartel drug labs and dismantle their operations for good. Ever since drug cartels found a new way to sneak drugs into the US, things have gone from bad to worse. Back in the 1980s, around 2,500 people died each year from overdoses. By the early 2000s, that number jumped to 20,000. Now it's over 110,000 people yearly. To put it in perspective, drugs have now killed more Americans than the First and Second World Wars combined. Most of these deaths happen in poor communities, and it's become a severe national crisis. Today, the US uses more than 80% of the world's opioids. The demand keeps growing, and cartels make tens of billions of dollars every year from it. The US has heightened defenses. However, the cartels have found a smart way to dodge US defenses by going underwater. Submarines, once thought too advanced for smugglers, became their secret weapon. These aren't military machines, but they work well enough. The first ones appeared back in the 1990s. They were made of wood and fiberglass and built deep in swampy forests, far away from the eyes of satellites and drones. Today, these narco subs are much better. Skilled builders are now designing them, and the results are impressive. A modern drug submarine is about 80 feet long and can travel 2,500 miles without stopping for fuel. Each one costs between $1 and $2 million. A small team of 5 usually runs it, and the sub can carry up to 10 tons of drugs worth over $150 million. They're also much harder to spot. Painted in dull gray-blue colors, they blend in with the ocean. Their shape helps them move quietly without making waves. Some even have a layer of lead inside to hide the heat they give off, which makes them hard to see with special heat-detecting cameras from above. If the border patrol gets too close, the crew can open a special valve that sinks the submarine in minutes. Everything, the boat and the drugs, disappears into the deep sea where no one can reach it. But submarines aren't their only trick. The cartels also use superfast boats to move cocaine. These boats, called go-fasts, are small but mighty. They're about 30 feet long and often have 3 or 4 massive engines, each as strong as a race car. With that much power, they can zoom across the water at over 80 miles per hour, making them nearly impossible to catch. Go-fast boats glide just above the ocean, painted in blue so they're hard to spot. They're small, low in the water, and usually carry only one person, saving space for fuel and illegal cargo. Tanks holding up to 2,000 gallons can travel more than 500 miles without stopping. That's far enough to cross from Colombia to Jamaica, or from the Bahamas straight into Florida. Today, the cartels have taken it further by creating boats that combine speed and stealth, something between a go-fast and a submarine. These low-profile boats barely rise above the water, with only a small part showing. They're built using radar-resistant materials and painted to match the sea. They don't go as fast, only about 30 miles per hour, but they're much harder to detect. With submarines hiding deep and these stealth boats skimming the surface, smugglers have made it almost impossible to know where the next load will come from. Seeing how strong and influential the cartels have become, in 2024 while campaigning for his second term in office, Donald Trump made a bold promise: he would crush the cartels. And the moment he was elected, he wasted no time putting a plan in motion. In a speech to Congress on March 4, Trump called the cartels a danger to American lives. He said clearly that the cartels are waging war on America, and it's time for America to wage war on the cartels. Just 2 weeks before that speech, Trump had already taken action. He labeled 8 cartels as foreign terrorist groups. That move gave U.S. forces, especially the Navy, full power to go after them using counterterrorism operations. In response, Mexico's Senate approved a joint military training program. It brought together the U.S. Army's 7th Special Forces Group and Mexico's elite naval marines, a clear sign that both countries are preparing for a serious fight. The CIA has also joined the fight. Using high-tech drones, they've started flying missions over Mexico, watching cartel activity from above and collecting secret information. According to military experts, the U.S. is getting ready for a large-scale strike, something the country hasn't done since the early days of the War on Terror. 6 current and former officials from the U.S. military, law enforcement, and intelligence community say that drone attacks are now being seriously discussed. The targets: cartel leaders, vehicles, drug labs, storage sites, any piece of the criminal network. Talks are reportedly happening between the White House, the Defense Department, and top intelligence leaders. Sources say the Mexican government is aware of these conversations. This isn't Trump's first push for bold, dangerous actions. Back in 2020, when he was still in his first term, former Defense Secretary Mark Esper said, Trump asked if the military could launch missiles at drug labs in Mexico and just deny it afterwards. Trump and his team have denied the claim, but many believe the idea hasn't left his mind. Trump and his supporters believe that if the pressure is strong enough, cartel members will give up the drug trade to stay alive. They believe force is the only language the cartels understand. So far in 2025, Trump has made sure that one name keeps coming up when the cartels whisper about trouble at sea: the U.S. Coast Guard cutter James. It's been hunting smugglers non-stop, and one mission in particular has them shaken. This legendary 112-day patrol has become the stuff of nightmares for cartel leaders, so much so they don't even like to talk about it. The cutter James is no ordinary ship. Stretching 418 feet long, it carries a crew of 150 highly trained officers, each skilled in tracking, boarding, and stopping drug traffickers. On January 5, a drone launched from the USCGC James spotted a suspicious boat near Ecuador. This drone could stay in the air for 18 hours and had ultra-clear cameras to read writing on ships from miles away. It silently followed the target until the boarding crew moved in. They captured 3 men along with over 2,200 pounds of cocaine. The very next day, January 6, things escalated. A patrol aircraft picked up 3 go-fast boats moving together, something rare and risky for traffickers. The crew launched helicopters and quickly intercepted all 3 at once. 9 people were arrested, and they uncovered nearly 14,000 pounds of cocaine. On January 7, traffickers tried something different. They sent out a stealth boat built to hide from radar. But the cutter James team wasn't fooled. A helicopter locked onto the boat, shut down its engines with precision, and safely captured everyone on board. That stop kept another 8,240 pounds of cocaine off American streets. By January 18, traffickers were getting desperate. In one case, they started tossing bales of cocaine into the ocean to lighten their load and escape. But the cutter James crew didn't back off. Small, fast boats chased the smugglers while other teams scooped up the floating drugs before they sank. In the end, they recovered about 6,000 pounds of narcotics. In just the last 4 months, this one ship alone has taken over 48,000 pounds of illegal drugs off the ocean. That's enough to feed an entire city's drug market for a year. The street value, around $919 million, a massive blow to the cartel's profits. Warships like the USS Minneapolis St. Paul and USS St. Louis have also been patrolling the Caribbean, making their busts. They added even more cocaine seizures to the growing list of wins, hitting the cartels where it hurts most, especially Sinaloa and Jalisco New Generation. These non-stop operations have left cartel bosses nervous and scrambling. For the first time in years, they're no longer sure if their shipments will make it, or if they'll just disappear into the ocean, seized by the forces now hunting them across sea, air, and land.